Coming up on KUJH News, we look into the national demand for mental health resources on college campuses.
More to come, we learn about a Kappa Delta house mom who is turning 90 in January.
Stay tuned for a behind-the-scenes look into how we create every show day.
Live from the studio in Stauffer Flint at the University of Kansas, you're watching KUJH News.
Welcome back to KUJH News. I'm Libby Johnson.
And I'm Dylan Vanderveen.
Lawrence has already had that first bite of winter temps. Now with winter weather approaching, it's time to start thinking about prepping your home for the lower temperatures. A lot of off-campus homes in Lawrence are older, and that means they may not have the quality of insulation that newer homes do. Zoe Kopp, a KU student, knows that firsthand. Kopp lives in an off-campus home that's 100 years old and says that she's definitely felt the difference.
Insulation issues with the windows around the house. For instance, in my bedroom, I have a broken window, so I have to stuff it and insulate it with a towel or blanket.
But there are things you can do to combat the cold. To conserve heat, you can stuff towels and cracks under doors and cover windows with blankets at night. Be aware of frozen pipes when expecting freezing temperatures, drip your faucets, and keep cabinet doors open beneath sinks to allow warm air in. Lastly, an electric space heater is beneficial, but be sure to keep it 3 feet away from flammable objects, water, and avoid using extension cords. Some good tips to keep in mind for the upcoming season.
Cold weather is here, which means you'll soon be navigating icy streets and walkways on some early mornings. Whether you walk or drive, KUJH's Claire Decatur has some more tips on how you can stay safe this winter season.
Winter can be a tough time on campus and around Lawrence.
I feel like ice and how hilly Lawrence is when you go up a hill with ice. If your car has to stop for a long period of time, it slips often, I feel like, with older cars, so it's just like so hazardous and likely to crash.
Emergency management specialist John Stepich says it's important to be prepared.
Things like snow and ice on the sidewalks, make sure you're wearing shoes with good traction on them. If you have a car, make sure you have tires with lots of traction on them as well. And consider making a preparedness kit for your car.
Some of these weather safety kits could include a bottled water or a blanket. He says we not only need to think about our car safety, but our physical health as well.
Make sure you're wearing warm, dry clothes. Wear lots of layers. Cover any exposed skin, especially when it's really windy, when wind chills are really low, to prevent against frostbite.
Being prepared for the weather every day is the best thing you can do.
Check your phone, check your weather app, know what the temperature is going to be, know if there's going to be any snow or ice or rain, and prepare for it.
For KUJH, I'm Claire Decatur.
Thanks for that, Claire. After this past weekend, Libby, I'm going to have to consider making my own safety kit.
Yeah, it seems like those cold weather is really starting to stick. What's it looking like, Ashton?
It has been awfully cold this week. Our temperatures right now are in the 50s, upper 40s for most locations, feeling 50 here in Lawrence. But from the past week, we have had extremely cold temperatures. Just yesterday morning, we actually broke a low of 15 degrees before the sun came up. That is the lowest on record at this time. So it has definitely been cold for the past week. And we aren't the only location experiencing these cold temperatures. All across the country, they've been experiencing this Arctic blast of cold weather. Vermont saw their first snowfall this week, and Chicago actually had snow on Halloween. So we aren't the only ones experiencing this cold temperature. If you look at this map behind me, this is showing when we're expecting our first snowfall for the year, typically in late November, early December. So just keep that in mind as you're outside experiencing these colder temperatures. Good news though, today, lots of sunshine and the winds are coming out of the south. It's going to be 59 degrees, so you will still need that jacket even with the sun, and the winds are getting up to 25 miles per hour. So it will be windy out there today, but we'll talk more about these warming temperatures coming up.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like I need to make that winter kit soon then, for sure.
The good news is that it is a little sunny today. The bus station on Bob Billings and Crestline is seeing major progress. Its central location will make the connection between KU Transit and the city routes easier. Riders will have a more accommodating experience. The indoor weight area will have restrooms and provide shelters from harsh weather, conditioning for weathers and riders that are waiting. The Central Station project will be complete in January 2024.
Ghouls and goblins packed downtown Lawrence this Halloween. KUJH reporter Aiden Pezel got in touch with a few Halloween trick-or-treaters.
Near freezing temps didn't see a downturn in a decades-old Lawrence Halloween tradition. For the past 20 years, stores on Massachusetts Street have been handing out candy to trick-or-treaters. Starting around 5 o'clock, kids can be seen walking the 5-block length of Mass with their parents, loading up their bags, and then they get to turn around and do it all over again on the other side of the street. With all types of unique and creative costumes, parents and kids in all kinds filled the downtown strip. I went around and asked some of the revelers to tell me about their costumes.
A scary puppet. I'm dressed up as a holy cow.
I am Harry Potter, and I grew up watching the Harry Potter movies. I went to Universal Studios in Florida, bought the robe, the wand, everything. I've seen all the movies.
Just pure curation, man, imagination. Like I said, I'm an artist, so I just came up with it, kept adding on to it throughout the years, and this is what it is now.
Every store on Massachusetts Street was completely out of candy by the time the clock struck 9. With another Halloween in the books, trick-or-treaters were able to go home and enjoy their candy before it got too cold. Reporting for KUJH, I am Aiden Pezel.
Thanks, Eddie. Glad all the kids, and looks like some adults as well, got all their candy and stayed warm. Do you have any fun plans this Halloween there, Libby?
I actually stayed home and I watched a scary movie in my bed. It was quite lovely, I can't lie.
Yeah, I didn't really do anything either, but I did have 1 or 2 pieces of candy, so I can't really blame for that. We're just going to take a short little break, but stay with us here for more KUJH News after this.
I'm Jack Denneheim, and coming up on KUJH News, I visit with the Eudora girls cross country team that just secured its dynasty.
Welcome back here on KUJH.
Mental health across college campuses continues to be an ongoing issue, not only in Kansas, but across the nation.
KUJH's Stella Uriarte joins us live in the studio on more on this issue. Stella?
Thanks, Livy and Dylan. While there is less stigma for those seeking help, access can still be a challenge even on KU's campus.
Campus mental health experts and advocates are waiting to see what will result after Kansas Governor Laura Kelly passed her omnibus budget this past May. That budget includes increased funding for higher education, investment in local infrastructure, and expanding mental health for students.
The governor does a really good job and her team watching a lot of the committees that happens. So the Health and Human Services House Committee, I know that the governor's office is always watching and monitoring, and then we also have stakeholders, especially with mental health.
According to the National Alliance on Mental Health, 1 in 5 adults experience mental illness each year. Looking more closely at the campus level, each year more than 60% of college students meet the criteria for at least one mental health problem.
I feel like I'm always learning something new about how are we addressing mental health, because it's really a bipartisan issue. I know our chairwoman in House Health and Human Services is very passionate about mental health, and we even dedicate several days in the legislature just to invite folks in to give testimony on how their services and programs, their RAP programs in school, their suicide prevention services are working and not working, and what can the state do.
At KU, there are different resources available for those seeking mental health help. This includes counseling and psychological services, known as CAPS, and the Burt Nash Center. But while the need for these services is recognized, places offering help often struggle to keep up with demand.
I'd say as a community, and because I'm in touch with all of those services as well as private practitioners, we're all struggling to meet the demand. The demand is higher than we can all provide services. I think it's a matter of making sure it's all, like you said, getting kind of pushed out to all the spaces on clinic that offer services.
CAPS has been made like the most readily available in my opinion. So when I started going back, I went I started, I think, beginning of April last semester, and it just went weekly till the end of the school year. And then at that point in time, it was super easy for me to get an appointment. And I've tried to go back this fall since, and I've just struggled to they get booked out really fast. I don't know if it's with the beginning of the school year or what, but I've just noticed that it's really hard to get an appointment.
Those who work in the mental health field hope more money from the state will make it easier to ensure that everyone has easier access to resources and doesn't have to wait weeks to book an appointment.
For more information on mental health resources, check out their website, help.ku.edu. Back to you, Libby.
Thank you, Stella, for the in-depth look into the progress made from the Kansas legislature and its impact on the KU campus.
Well, we talked a little bit about the weather earlier, and it's really starting to look cold out there.
It is. I have to take a few extra minutes in the morning now to make sure I'm all bundled up and getting ready to go out the door. But what are the weather temperatures looking like today, Ashton?
We're taking a live look at campus right now. You can see behind me tons of clear skies. That's going to be the trend for not just today, but for the remainder of the week. This is a more local look at our satellite. You can see we just had one area of clouds there popping up, but for the most part, our country is staying clear right now. This is a regional look. Not too much going on. We have more dry, cooler fall temperatures ahead of us for this week, staying clear for the next week or so. Temperatures in the next 24 hours are trending in between the 50s and 40s for the next 24 hours or so. So we're not really making too much of a jump in our temperatures. This is a look at our class planner starting in those low 50s by 1 p.m. But by the time you're heading home in the upper 50s, lots of sunshine. But the one thing to keep in mind for today is wind gusts getting up to 25 miles per hour. So we'll talk more about these warming temperatures next in the full forecast.
Thanks, Ashton. There are 11 different Panhellenic sororities at KU. Within each of those chapter houses is a house director, aka a house mom. For one chapter house, the house mom is more than just their house director, she's a friend. KUJH Sydney Clark joins us in studio to share Suzanne Tomlinson's story.
Suzanne was such a joy to meet and learn about her unique journey to Kappa Delta. She's been a house mom at multiple other IFC and PHA chapters at KU. But when she walked inside Kappa Delta's doors, she knew that was her forever home.
A house mom helps make a sorority house feel like a home. For the members of Kappa Delta, their house mom has done just that. Former high school English teacher Suzanne Tomlinson was searching for what was next when she asked a sidekick for guidance.
I kept saying, what am I going to do? And she would say, well, you're going to be around a lot of people.
But with the help of a friend a few weeks later, Suzanne found the answers she was looking for.
Suzanne, have you ever thought about being a house mom? And she used exactly the same terms that what Mary Starr had said.
Now, she has been a house mom at multiple other fraternities and sororities at KU. But Kappa Delta has been her home for the past 19 years.
And when August rolls around, it's time for the new sophomore members of Kappa Delta to live in. Their favorite part is getting to know Mom Tom, and Mom Tom getting to know them.
It feels like part of the family. Like when you move into the house, one of the things you look forward to is like getting to know Mom Tom and having Mom Tom get to know you.
But after 19 years at Kappa Delta, Suzanne is retiring. She said when she turned 90, that would be the day she retired, and Suzanne will be 90 in January.
I always say that I came here to be happy.
And she did just that, while also leaving a lasting smile on all the girls at Kappa Delta. For KUJH News, I'm Sydney Clark.
Suzanne said after she retires, she will move to Overland Park where her son and grandchildren live. She's most excited about spoiling her grandkids and taking time to enjoy the little moments with her family. Dylan, Libby.
It sounds like she's done a lot for Greek life at KU, and hopefully KU will always be her second home.
Yeah, for sure. She seems really sweet. Well, we're just going to take we're going to take another short break, but hopefully you're a sports lover. You're not going to want to miss KUJH Sports coming up next.
Coming up on KUJH, I'm Abby Lord, and you will hear from KU Volleyball's latest edition.
Yeah, I always just clap in this part.
This is where everyone's talking amongst themselves. Do you know how to do it? Do you know how to do it?
Are we supposed to smile?
When do we start? Somebody over here already started.
Can we talk about the piccolo part's the most complicated one?
It is. If you listen, you're doing it when the band's not playing.
You have to tell me when it starts. I still don't know.
Here we go. Just clapping now.
No humps. Nailed it.
I practiced this morning. Mine was just 2 people.
It has a right and a wrong way of doing it. No. Wrong.
I like my way better.
I don't know how to
1,
do
2,
the
3,
end.
4.
It's just I don't know the head.
It's hard by yourself.
Welcome back to KUJH Sports. I'm Carson Shea. We have some moments to recap and some things to preview, so let's get started. This week marks the start of a new season of men's basketball at KU. The team kicked off their season with an exhibition game at State Farm Arena in Champaign versus the Illinois Fighting Illini. The team did fall 82-75, but the Jayhawks did get back on track in their most recent and final exhibition game last night versus Fort Hays State. The regular season begins on Monday as Kansas is set to take on North Carolina Central at Allen Fieldhouse. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. Now on to a team that's well into their season and making their mark this year under Lance Leipold is KU football. The Jayhawks took on the number 6 Oklahoma Sooners this past weekend at home and shocked the college football world by defeating the Sooners 38-33, handing them their first loss of the season. Chaos ensued in Lawrence shortly after. The fans rushed the field and the goalposts ended up in Potter Lake. Tuesday, the publicity continued for Kansas as the team was ranked number 21 in the country by the College Football Playoff Committee. This weekend, the Jayhawks will take on Iowa State in Ames. Kickoff is set for 6 o'clock and the game will be televised on ESPN. Now, Kansas is one of 3 schools in the country to have football, basketball, and volleyball all ranked in the top 25 nationally. Kansas volleyball, ranked 14th, has found success with junior middle blocker Toyosi Onabanjo this season. KUJH's Abby Lord has more.
Toyosi Onabanjo stumbled upon volleyball by accident. She started playing as a freshman in high school and loved it ever since. Out of high school, Onabanjo signed her letter of intent for the University of Iowa. However, after 2 years, she decided to enter the transfer portal and found a home in Lawrence. Onabanjo explains why she chose the Crimson and Blue.
Through all of the visits, Kansas was the one I thought about the most, like no matter where else I was. It was just such a great visit, and like the coaching staff was amazing. I got to meet so many people in the athletic department. Like it was just a perfect visit.
Head coach Ray Bouchard was excited to grab another middle blocker off the transfer portal after losing 6 seniors, specifically a middle blocker. Bouchard explains what they saw in her.
We had a need for what she could do. She played a little right side middle at Iowa, but we thought she could be an elite Big 12 middle for us, and certainly she's doing that for us.
Onabanjo has fit perfectly into the Jayhawk puzzle. In half a season, she has recorded 155 kills and 70 blocks, and she is on track to have her best collegiate season from a stat standpoint.
The Jayhawks are 7-3 in conference play, and Onabanjo is number 4 on the conference-only blocks per set list with 1.23. Junior outside hitter Aya Naldi explains what she brings to the team.
I think her energy is a huge part, and then just like how strong she is and like how active she is, like each and every ball, like in transition or like in serve receive. She's just like always like calling the ball, which helps all the attackers when she does that.
Onabanjo may be the new kid on the block, but she is playing like she's been a Jayhawk all along. For KUJH Sports, I'm Abby Lord.
Kansas will host in-state rival Kansas State at home in this year's rendition of the Sunflower Showdown at 6:30 p.m. on Friday and at 3 p.m. on Saturday. The Jayhawks are riding a 10-game home winning streak that dates back to September 2nd. For the high school level, before Saturday, only 4 girls cross-country teams have won 3 straight state titles at the 4A level. But now, the Eudora High School girls cross-country team has solidified their spot amongst those dynasties. KUJH reporter Jack Dennebaum has more on the story.
Our champs in girls 4A state cross-country 2023 victory with a team score of 57 points.
The Eudora High School girls cross country team won its third straight state title Saturday. The team becomes just the fifth girls cross country team to win back-to-back-to-back championships at the 4A level. Senior Sydney Owens says she couldn't be more proud of the team for its accomplishment.
Unreal. Honestly, it's amazing. It's awesome.
Owens led the way for the Cardinals as she was the individual state champion with a time of 18:47.82. Junior teammate Hannah Keltner finished right behind Owens to be the state runner-up with a time of 18:59.57. Sophomore Addie Williams placed 13th with a time of 2019.76 to earn a state medal as well. Williams says it was an exciting moment for her when she found out the team had won the championship.
Oh my gosh, it was probably the best feeling I've ever felt ever. It was just so exhilarating, and everyone's adrenaline was through the roof, even though we just ran 3.1 miles, 5K. Everyone was just so happy, and everyone was so proud of each other. There were some tears shed from me, and everyone was just so happy, but there were tears of joy, and I'm just so happy and proud of everyone.
Head coach Jim Bernard says the third straight title is proof that hard work pays off.
Really, it's a testament to the kids and how hard they work. To keep winning that long, you have kids that graduate, new kids that come in. So it's a testament to the leaders that started it and just kind of showed the young kids how to do it year after year. And so, yeah, it's incredible.
Keltner says she hopes the championship win draws more attention to not only cross country, but also to all of Eudora's girls sports programs.
Girls sports sometimes don't have a lot of, some people don't think they're as interesting to watch, but Eudora girls to watch us go to volleyball state, and then watch us go to golf, and to all these places, all these different sports, and to show off just how good girls sports can be. It's just amazing. And again, cross country is a sport that's kind of looked over at sometimes, but we've kind of shed light on, Eudora cross country kind of has shed light on just how fun cross country can be and how rewarding it is to see so much success.
I'm Jack Dinnebeim reporting for KUJH News.
The Cardinals will have 4 seniors that will have to replace for next season. Definitely some big shoes to fill. After the break, learn how KU students are applying for jobs. Stay with us.
Coming up on KUJH News, I'm Blake Ullman, and I'll give you a behind-the-scenes look of how we put together the show.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back to KUJH News. Thanks, Carson, for giving us the rundown on a very busy sports week.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm really excited for KU basketball season to start. Ranked number 1. It's going to be a great season, I have a feeling. If you were near the Dole Center last Monday evening, you may have noticed some Spider-Man, dinosaurs, and even royalty trunk-or-treating. KUJH's Grace Hills has more.
The Center for Community Outreach for KU hosted their annual trunk-or-treat event last Monday. The event hosted all different kinds of community members passing out candy, all so that the kids of Lawrence could say, "Trick or treat!"
Hi there! Trick or treat.
Trick or treat! The firefighters gave tours of their fire truck, Loving Paws bought their festive therapy dogs, and the Lawrence Public Library brought their mobile library, Dottie.
We check out books, we sign people up for library cards, we just spread the word about the library.
Trunk or Treat was on a 2-year hiatus due to COVID, but came back last year. Last year they had 14 cars pass out candy, and this year they had 40.
One of my biggest goals this year is to just get KU students to be more involved in the Lawrence community, both service-wise and also just more connected to the community, because it's a great community that hosts us for our 4 years. And so I think that this event is a great first step in doing that.
Muhammad has been planning the event since August and had a goal of 200 kids attending, a goal that was met just halfway into the event. For KUJH, I'm Grace Hills.
If you'd like to volunteer the next trunk or treat or be involved in the Lawrence community, you can follow the Center in Community Outreach on Instagram at KU_CCO. Well, the weekend is almost here, and it looks like it's going to be another cold one, Libby.
Yeah, I think you're right. Ashton, can you confirm our fears?
Temperatures are in the lower 50s right now for most of the locations. Here in Lawrence, we're at 50 degrees. Over in Paola, 52 degrees most of the day. We're warming up into those upper 50s for today. Our pollen forecast, we are staying relatively low with the pollen forecast for today. Ragweed will be at medium, but for the rest of our forecast there, it is staying relatively low, which is good. We're beginning to exit the pollen forecast season. Tonight's low is at 49 degrees. It will be breezy, clear skies, wind gusts getting up to 30 miles per hour, winds up to 20 out of the south. So it will be a breezier yet warmer night if you're out there for this evening. And a look at tomorrow, we are finally in the 60s, 65 degrees and sunny for tomorrow. We're beginning to feel that warm up that's happening this week. Winds out of the southwest 10 to 15 miles per hour, but the wind gusts are hanging on up to 30 miles per hour for tomorrow. This is a look at the next 2 days for the futurecast. We are staying dry across the country, not tracking too much precipitation, especially here in Kansas. So we're going to feel more dry, cooler temperatures for these fall like next week. This is the extended forecast for the next 7 days in the 50s to start today. And then we have multiple days of the 60s with lots of sunshine. So it is going to be a warmer, more sunnier week ahead of us.
And thanks, Ashton. So maybe grab just a light jacket. Maybe won't even need one this weekend. Looks like it's actually going to be pretty warm.
Yeah. Each week, everyone here at KUJH is proud to deliver the news to the KU campus and beyond. But how exactly do we do it? KUJH's Blake Ullman takes us behind the scenes.
Planning for each week's show actually starts the week before when the KUJH news staff sits down for the weekly pitch meeting. During the pitch meeting, all the multimedia journalists and anchors talk to the show's executive producer about what story we're covering for the following week.
Working for the Eudora Times helps, we have newsroom meetings where we talk about the stories of the week and stuff like that. So when I did like a couple feature stories, for example, the Breakfast Club story I did, that actually came in from a mom who emailed us about the kids doing that.
After the pitch meeting, reporters start reaching out to sources, setting up interviews, and writing scripts. The show starts to really take shape the day before we air. While reporters are putting the finishing touches on their stories, the anchors are going over what they'll read on air, and the producers are busy putting together individual stories into an entire news show.
So if something's very strong, I'll put that at the A block, and then kind of from there, take it one story at a time. What story will transition well with another story, or how can I relate these two stories together?
When show day arrives, everyone's busy going over the show one more time. Producers are sending some reporters out into the field and putting the finishing touches on the show. The only thing left to do is start this show.
3, 2, 1, take open.
For KUJH News, I'm Blake Ullman.
As always, you can catch up on past week's shows by visiting tv.ku.edu. Well, that's going to be all we have for you today, guys.
Yeah, but come back next Wednesday for some more KUJH news.
And follow us on social media for more content.